This is Jam Nation.
With Jonesy and Amanda.
Our next guest is one of Australia's most famous expats, Jim Jefferies. He says whatever he wants and people love him for it. His unapologetic social commentary has won him millions of fans across the globe. He's one of the highest selling comedians on the planet. And fans who missed out on tickets to his previous sold-out More shows last June are in luck because he's back. Joins us now. Hello, Jim.
Hello. How are you guys?
Well, we're great,
We're really
mate.
well. When you come to Australia, I know you live in the States, how much do you have to change your material? Obviously, the gun stuff that's made you so famous in the States, you don't necessarily do that here. But are we very different audiences?
No, it's pretty much the same. I always have a few routines that are about growing up in Australia or being Australian that the Americans don't get that I enjoy rattling out when I get to Australia. But this is a show that I was working on over COVID, and I'm going to record it as a special in about 2 weeks, and I don't think it'll be out on Netflix until the New Year sometime. So I was coming over for Christmas and New Year's, and I said, I'll do one show, and that sold out real quick, so we added another one on. So I'm quite humbled.
Well, and I just love the way you tell a story. It could be anything about the time you were hanging out with Axl Rose, which was one of my favourite stories. Then you were talking about, was it possibly Axl Rose or a middle-aged woman?
Oh, no, it was 100% Axl Rose. I was on I'd taken a whole lot of mushrooms in Vegas after my show. And then Axl Rose asked me to come in to meet him, and it turned out that he'd been in the audience of my gig, and I've been slagging him off, saying how late he is for concerts all the time, not knowing he was in the room. And he was like, "Hey, I just want to tell you that it's been overstated how late I am for concerts." And I was on so many mushrooms. He looked like the Cowardly Lion from The Wizard of Oz. And I just couldn't. I just stood up and I went, "Oh, well, thank you so much for having me, Mr. Rose. I really appreciate it." And then I went, "Can I have a photo?" And his security was like, "He doesn't take photos." And then out of nowhere, he said he would. So I've got a photo of me pretty mashed up with Axl Rose.
Because apparently, isn't the bandana has that fake hair attached to it, I think?
I'm never going to get into a man for bloody trying to look like he has hair. He's having a go. I'm someone who's bloody had a transplant. I take Propecia every day. I can't take it every day.
Yeah.
I can't take it every day. I have to take it every 4 days. If I take it every day, my penis doesn't work. Right? So I have two options in life. Either I can have hair or I can't have sex with anyone, or I'm bald and no one wants to have sex with me.
It's quite the dilemma.
The idea that we'd tease Axl Rose for wearing a wig, but we'd call Jada Pinkett Smith brave for sitting out there. Like when has one bald man been called brave in a situation? We just get mocked and teased. You know what I mean? Like how do we live in a society where women are allowed to wear wigs over their full heads of hair and they're just having a bit of fun? But if a bald man wears a wig, he's a loser.
I've just I was looking at the news. America's just had its 40th shooting for the week, and last week it was. So we're in the 43rd week of the year.
So it's one a week.
That's one a week.
Oh yeah, no. They're very common now. I'm not going to tell you as a parent that I don't worry about it all the time, but you know, the sad thing is because of that gun control routine that I did. If I wake up in the morning and I'm trending on Twitter, I go, "Oh, there must have been a shooting."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not a fun thing.
No.
And now they're starting to have like people ringing in. Like when we were a kid, remember when you wanted to do an exam and then one kid would ring in a bomb scare and you'd be like, "Brilliant, I get an extra day to study." You know, thank you, whoever did that, right? Over here, they're ringing in the school shootings now, so it's terrifying.
Yeah, it's a scary ass. And one of your routines, I just like the way that you compare our Constitution to the American Constitution, because I would never know what's in our Constitution.
I don't know where it is. Is it written on a bit of paper?
Yeah.
Like, has anyone, like, is there some parchment paper, like some old school sort of treasure map looking paper with it written on? Because I've never seen it. Have you ever seen it?
Never seen it. I wasn't even aware we had one, to be honest. What's written on it? I wouldn't know.
The most I learned about the Australian Constitution was from the movie The Castle, because they mentioned it a few times. That's as far as I've gone.
Can I ask you what it's like being on the road these days? I mean, do you take mushrooms after every show, or have you moved to sort of turmeric tea? What kind of traveller are you now?
I've been sober now for 18 months from alcohol. So I live in California. So I've taken up weed, and that's changed my life. So what I do is I take an edible, a store-bought edible after I get off stage, and that just chills me out, man. No more antidepressants, no more nothing. Weed's the greatest thing to ever come into me life. They call it California sober. I like to call it high and dry.
So, because with drinking, in America's attitude to drinking and Australians' attitude to drinking are two different things. In America, I'd be considered an alcoholic.
A little bit here too.
Yeah. Well, the Americans, you go into a comedy club and they have on the table, they have a little sign on the table that says 2 drink minimum. Everyone has to buy 2 drinks, like when they get in the comedy club, otherwise you can't sit there.
Yeah.
2 drink minimum. Could you imagine how insulting that would be to an Australian if you walked into a bar and they said 2 drink minimum? You go, but I'm allowed more, right? It's not the maximum as well, is it? Also, when I first moved to America, I go into bars and I try to be responsible. So I go, I'll have a light beer, thanks. And I was drinking about 5 or 6, 7 light beers, and then I was driving home thinking I was a good person, and only to find out that light beers in America mean low carb. Exactly the same amount of alcohol.
What a learning curve
you
for
kept
you.
your figure, though, Jim.
Oh, I look great.
You look great.
Good hair, good
Car
figure.
was around a tree, but geez, you look good. Jim, it's always great. We just love you. We love catching up with you. It's always a treat to have you on our show. Tickets to see Jim Jefferies available now at frontiertouring.com. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Anytime you want me, I'll be on.